I went for 2 weeks. I already telling you whether it's just 2 weeks. Okay, let's move on. Let's start with the nation. Tinubu Atiku Obi roll out plans on economy and security. No work, no play rule. NLC backs ASUU on salary arrears. BOI Nexim OK 10 billion, 101 billion naira for real sector funding, says CBN. Why dumped NNPP by Shekarau. Scores of militants killed as NAF jets hit ISWAP's camp in Sambisa. Lawyer EFCC can probe state accounts and finances. Tribunal grants Oyetola APC access to poll materials. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, let me start with why the former Kano State Governor, Ibrahim Shekarau, has announced his exit from his own party, the NNPP. He said that he had to leave because the party had denied his followers nomination forms. He was the only one given, and he said when he met with his with the founder of NNPP, that's his predecessor in the Kano State Government House, Kwankwaso, he said that they had agreed that he was coming to join NNPP, but he was also coming with his supporters, and his supporters also wanted to run for office and, wanted nomination forms to run for these offices. And he said they met on many occasions, and he was promised that this would be so. But that in the end, he was the only one given a form. And for him, he just felt humiliated and betrayed. And so he has taken his exit from the party. I guess we're going to see a lot of goings ins and goings outs. Until the 2023 election itself.
Okay, so the Nigerian Air Force have, bombarded the ISWAP hideout. According to the nation, the leader of Islamic State of West African province, Fia Ba Yuram, is the one who took over from Shekarau in this their own faction of the Boko Haram, and in their enclave, the Nigerian Air Force got intelligence that they were gathering in a place in Borno near Sambisa Forest, Tumbun in Borno State, and they attacked that area, bombarded it, but they don't have clear information on whether that's the present leader of that faction, has been killed.
Yeah, so the Nigeria Labour Congress yesterday said they are still supporting the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that's ASUU, and insisting on the payment of the withheld salaries of their members as a condition for ending the 6 months strike. So according to them, they said that it's unfair for the federal government to invoke a no-work, no-pay rule on university teachers who were not even architects of what has been happening that's related to the strike. And the government needs to show more accommodation, needs to accommodate them more and change their rhetorics, because I took it in the papers yesterday where the government was saying that they will be proscribing them if they do not back down on the strike. So they went ahead to also say that that's according to the Minister of State for Education, Goodluck Opa, saying that Nigerians should not allow the reports about ASUU to rubbish the gains of over 3 trillion investments by the president in the educational sector, which, if you ask me, I'm not seeing where that has entered. However, ASUU, on the other hand, is saying that they have not, up until now, they have not even gotten any letter from the government to, go back to work or not. That they are going to be having a meeting on Monday, and on that Monday, they will now decide whether to accept what the government is proposing, go back and continue the negotiations, or they will continue. And, government has also said that they are going to be prescribing them. So from next week, Monday, they will find out where they are exactly. Some unions amongst them, the non-academic staff and others, have decided to back out of the strike. So it's basically just ASUU that is still insisting on the strike.
Okay, there was one part, I don't know, I thought you would take it, about the students asking for a sort of arrangement, PPP.
Yes, it's a different.
Okay. All right, so I was going to take the major headline. There was a major event yesterday at the hotel. The NBA conference held yesterday. About 13,000 lawyers showed up, not physically, some were virtual, and it was moderated by Ulisa Agbakogba, SAN, and also the keynote address was given by Chimamanda, who stated that we must get elections and our leadership right in 2023. She also mentioned that we lack heroes, that we must come together to get, as a people, it starts from us. What we've always preached on this table, that we, the people, must take the decisions this time around. All the various parties were represented. Peter Obi was there. Shivaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu was represented by his vice presidential candidate. and Atiku Abubakar too was there, and they were all saying the various things they plan to do. So, for example, Peter Obi was reinforcing the fact that he was going to focus on education and the fact that he was going to turn Nigeria into a productive country. Atiku was saying, left about 5 major agenda he was going to do, one of which is economy, security. And I think Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, according to Shettima, because of their own track record, the work they've done in Borno, what he's done in Borno, the work Asiwaju has done in Lagos State, is saying that he has formed the foundation that which Lagos is built on. So he's able to use that at the presidential level. And he also, in security, is going to have the foundation which has turned Borno help concerning insecurity. So we'll see how that goes. But it was an interesting conference. It was really packed yesterday. I was at the hotel, very packed yesterday. Moving on quickly now to the Punch. Atiku Obi slammed federal government. Shettima sells Tinubu's candidacy. Building collapse. Lagos orders probe police arrest engineer. 570 million naira debt contractor to sue Osun over airport. Olubadan fumes as hoodlums invade palace to disrupt ceremony. Reps summon TCN over the $33 million payment to Gencos. Lawyer sues Buhari, others over the NDDC management. ASUU, NEC decides on strike Sunday. And all firms owe banks 5 trillion naira amid losses and theft. Which story?
I have the human interest
Yes,
story. So this is truly a sad story. They said that a woman and her 2 children were caught up. Okay, so first of all, this house was being renovated. It's in the Bariga area. It was being renovated, and the scaffolding on which the water tank is on, and they said it was like a three different tanks of water on it, now collapsed while renovation was going on, now collapsed onto someone else's flat. In the flat was a woman, her child, and her brother, her younger brother. The woman is in her 30s, and her younger brother is much younger and had come to look for a job. Her child is a minor. Unfortunately, the child and her brother died from the impact. They said the rods and the water tank fell on them. The woman was rushed to the hospital. She had broken bones and still in hospital. Of course, Lagos State is right on the matter. They're probing those who were building this particular structure. And they're saying that it's important that when you see something, we say something. Like if something was said while this renovation was going on, if someone had noticed or if they noticed and spoke out against maybe bad materials being used or that the structure just did not look strong enough, this situation would have been saved.
Mainly,
sort of
to renovate the building.
Anyway, the Lagos State government has shut down that site, and they're going to probe it further.
Okay.
So I wanted to take the House of Reps on TCN. So the House of Representatives Committee on Finance is probing the TCN over what they call a $33 million monthly payment. It's called a take-or-pay agreement that they have with one of the power generation companies called Azura Power West Africa Limited. So just as, they have with, they've concessioned Egbin, they've concessioned other power generation companies, Azura is one of those companies, and according to this report, is the least productive in power generation. But they have a take-or-pay agreement which forces the TCN to pay Azura, whether or not it delivers, $33 million monthly. He do, they pay him that money. So they summoned the Oga of the TCN, and his excuse was that Azura has been generating 460 megawatts, at least. It's not like MTMT. This is a power generation company that serves an area that is totally, completely unproductive when it comes to electricity, and the House of Reps sat on it. I like that Honorable James Faleke said that, we have other power plants. We have Egbin, which is the largest, is producing 1,320 megawatts monthly. And, we don't have a take-or-pay agreement with that one. We have Transcorp. We don't have a take-or-pay. Why do you have a take-or-pay, whether or not it works with Azura? And that the TCN was unable to answer. They couldn't, answer to that question. And the House of Reps dismissed them, and they're probing further the arrangement, such contracts. They said when you enter into contracts on behalf of Nigerians, you must see to it that you are protecting the interest. Which one is take or pay?
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So there's one more story from Punch.
Yes, so the contractor handling the construction of the MKO Abiola International Airport at Ido, Osun State, JM and AS Limited, has written to the state government to demand immediate payment of the 570.2 million debts expended on the project, or they will be ready for court action. So they said that they are giving the government 2 weeks to pay the debts, following the reports that the airport has been handed over to the Nigerian Air Force by Governor Oyetola-led government. And they said that what happened was that they had an agreement to, carry out the project and complete it. In the midst of the project, they were delayed with payments. Some payments were not made. And while they were still following up on that and sending letters to the government, they just realized that the government had taken the contract and given it to another company to handle, and did not tell them anything and did not pay them any amount of money. So they are taking the government to court now, saying that if they don't respond, they are going to do something about it. They need their outstanding payments for the job that they have done already.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to Vanguard. At NBA Summit, our plans for Nigeria by Atiku, Tinubu, and Obi. PDP crisis, Wike others jet out for critical meetings, says source. All theft. Experts, others indict federal government, security agencies as Equatorial Guinea arrest tanker. Aviation crisis. We are currently engaging CBN others on the $600 million blocked fund, says Lai Mohammed. Ahead of resumption, federal government committed to safe schools, says CDS. Shekarau 2023 parts ways with Kokonso and exits NNPP. 2023 poll, Tinubu remains best choice for Yoruba land, says Southwest APC. FG, NCC extends MAFAB's rollout by 5 months. Strike, ASUU to consider federal government's offer at next meeting next week. Okay, which story are we starting with in Vanguard?
So we have, we've been talking about the aviation issues where some companies, some foreign airlines are not able to repatriate their funds back to their country. And Nigeria is owing them about $600 million US dollars that has been trapped here because of the forex issue we are having as a country. So I took it last week in the papers that Emirates was saying that they won't be flying into Nigeria from September 1st because they have a lot of, I think they have about 80 to 85 million US dollars trapped here. British Airways also is considering not using our airways anymore because of their money also. I don't know how, the exact amount that Nigeria is owing British Airways. But
I know a few people that are trapped too.
Yeah.
They can't travel because their ticket was after September. Yeah. So they're having issues coming back because of the
Yes, I even booked a ticket, but they had to cancel. So I'm going to be taking Qatar Airways because Emirates cannot fly in right now. But the federal government is saying that they are currently engaging with relevant stakeholders to ensure that they are able to get out this money. And one of the stakeholders they are talking to is the Central Bank of Nigeria, among others. So I don't know what the conversation is going to be about. Are we going to be printing the dollars to pay them or... Yes, because we really do not have the money right now in foreign currency. So if they are negotiating, is it that they will find a way that we pay them in Naira or something? That was just more the details.
Just more forex,
So the federal government and its agencies are being accused of not doing what it needs to do in tackling the oil theft in Nigeria. This is because a vessel with 3 million barrels of crude oil from Nigeria was intercepted in Equatorial Guinea. 300 million barrels of crude oil from Nigeria. And it passed all the places that it could pass, all the points, the Navy, everything checks, and got to Equatorial Guinea for them to flag it before we heard about it. Anyway, stakeholders are shouting and screaming. A former chairman, Board of Trustees, Society of Petroleum Engineers, says that this has been going on for so long and that the volume of theft that happens from Nigeria would let you know that there are many agencies and the federal government has to be aware one way or the other and really quite nonchalant about fighting this war. Another expert says that a lot of times when we talk about oil theft, many people think it's the few people in the Niger Delta cutting pipes and, fetching some oil. That's not what we're talking about, that the volume of oil theft that happens in our country, is quite massive and that, our federal government needs to do better, agencies need to do better. Anyway, the Navy denies any involvement. They say they do their job and they carry out also a lot of duties. And at the time, when people point them in a direction of something, they go after it, but they are not involved.
But I'm told it's 3 million, not 300 million, just so that we write the right figures. Because 3 million barrels, but that's a lot of barrels.
It's still a lot of barrels.
Yeah, it is.
All right, another story.
3 million barrels, please.
Any other story in Vanguard? I was going to take the story about, but there's really not much, nothing has really changed between Governor Wike and the BOT chair, Atiku, the rifts going on. According to the papers, according to a source, Governor Wike jetted out to some country, nobody knows the country he went to, with his team on this matter, because remember, he's still insisting that Senator Ayo steps down as the chairman, and if he doesn't have that, if he doesn't get that, he's not going to obviously participate or support the candidacy of Atiku Abubakar. And this is a major issue for PDP. They need to resolve this matter before the elections because it's a major stumbling block for them. However, they are saying that Governor Wike himself is not even willing to compromise. And there's a lot of back and forth. Various stakeholders are trying to have meetings with him. But hopefully this meeting that they've jet out to go and have, hopefully they'll come and resolve it. If not, he has been going around to different, I've been seeing him around in different parties, he's been commissioning here, doing this.
He's been politicking.
He's been politicking. So we must be careful. Just, all right, any other story in Vanguard?
Like he knows how to play this politics.
Yes,
No, they're also playing politics.
He's dancing around, right?
Yes, so
making people have headache and migraine.
giving them high blood pressure.
They're also playing politics with him. They make it seem as if they're trying to settle with him while
They may also have their own plans.
No,
Who will have the last dance?
I'm telling you, that's why I say I was hoping that the election would have happened if I came back. Okay, let's move on to Tribune. Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. FG introduces rotavirus vaccine to avert over 110,000 children's death. $600 million trapped funds, foreign airlines, home countries uncomfortable, says ministry. Why proscribe IPOB and not Miyetti Allah, Soyinka as federal government? Water tank falls on house in Lagos, kills 2. Hoodlums disrupt chieftaincy ceremony, Olubadan condemns act. Abducted humanitarian worker released after 20 months in Boko Haram's den. 18 suspected kidnappers arrested in Benue. Students call for PPP to fund universities. APCON changes name, now ARCON. Bans use of foreign models and voice-over artists. Okay. Story.
So the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has introduced the rotavirus vaccine as a routine immunization schedule to avert over 110 deaths in children under the age of 5 in the next 10 years. So they said the rotavirus is a highly contagious virus that causes severe diarrhea disease amongst children all over the world, and is most frequent cause of severe diarrhea in children, accounting for about 215,000 deaths of the global 525,000 under 5 mortality attributed to diarrhea diseases each year. And more than 90% of these deaths occur in developing countries, including our country. Now that they have made it a regular vaccine that children can take, this will help to avert most of the deaths we're going to have.
I didn't realize that not all Nigerian children get that, because I remember my children got the rotavirus.
Yes.
But I didn't realize. So that means maybe if you don't get it from private hospitals, many Nigerian kids were not getting it.
But now that it's open to the primary health care, everybody can have access to it. Well done.
Okay, so the students, 2 students, in fact, Miss Philemon Kojo, she's a clinical student in the University of Abuja, and one Mr. Nwachukwu Clement, who is also a student of the University of Abuja, have talked about how the ASUU strike is affecting them. Ms. Kojo says that it's depressing for him. It has tormented her, and it depresses her that the education sector is like this. She then suggested that they should have a PPP, a public-private partnership, to fund universities. She says that they should engage the Ministry of Education, and ASUU should engage global monetary agencies to access fundings, or better still, the education sector should be privatized for proper management. That's her suggestion. Mr. Nwachukwu also talked about, the effect of the strike on them, suggesting that they should look for better ways of funding so that we don't continue to have these strikes. Ms. Kojo is a clinical student. She said she's on her 7th year for a 6-year course, and she's still in 500 level. Wow. And so she doesn't, she doesn't think that this is sustainable and it should continue. Mr. Nwachukwu also talked about the effect of the strike on him.
I've got.
Go ahead.
Okay, so from the ashes of banditry and whatever, there's good news. Miss Monret. How can I not know how to pronounce this name? Monret. In fact, I knew a friend, Monret Daspan. She is a social was a social worker that was abducted and had been in captivity for 20 months. She's finally been released. And, you know, the governor of Plateau State, who was represented by his deputy, they received her, and they're just so grateful that in the 20 months, you know, we can imagine her emotional, you know, trauma that she must have gone through. A spokesperson for the family also was very grateful. He said that so many people played a role in her final release. They thanked the army and so many other people, and people that prayed with them. He said while she was in captivity, there were stories that even suggested that maybe she had been killed, but eventually she reached out to them and told them that she had been taken to Chad Republic. Right. So thankfully, you know, she's back. This is good news.
Let me take this one story. The apex regulatory body of the nation's integrated marketing communications, if you know, advertising practitioners have changed their name to Advertising Regulators Council of Nigeria, and this is because they wanted to a stronger force to be able to regulate better advertising media in our nation. More importantly, they've also banned foreign use of foreign voice over artists. So when you go and bring this foreign person, good morning. Wake up and take a tea. Don't use foreign voice anymore. We want you to use Nigerian voices or your voiceovers for TV, advertising. They say that the stakeholders have said that they had rest assured that this regulating is not to strangulate. They're just trying to ensure that they're regulating not just the TV, but also the online media, because many of them have actually just taken all these things. They've been very quite unserious in how they've been taking online media. So now it's the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria will better regulate both online and electronic media and even the print media. We have to
determine what the Nigerian sound is.
Yeah.
Because we're influenced by we have to, because we're influenced by many other languages and many other exposures. So
it's debatable, right?
Yeah, so what is the Nigerian sound?
The local accent in
but there are plenty.
But there are so many.
No, we know our local accent.
It's a hot topic.
The local accent infused. We don't want fake American accent infused.
What if it's not American infused?
Let's go on a break.
What if it's Sierra Leone?
Maybe it's a hot topic. Let's think about it. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Let's go anyway.